Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic, what we're gonna be talking about is everything about the permissions in Jira. Now what I want to say is basically you have three permissions, right? The first permission is going to be the permission that is going to be tied around the project. Now it's using the permission scheme, and each project, and this is the company managed project, will have its own unique permission scheme. The second permission that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be the global permission, and these permissions are actually being applied for all of the projects in your Jira. And the third permission is all about the issue security. Right? Let's say that new company, one of the teams are actually asking for for them only to actually have issues that are only being visible to them, because they're actually having some really sensitive information that don't want to let anyone to actually stroll around, look around, pick around to actually see, their secrets. So you're actually their guardian, and you just want to make sure that everything is taken care of, that they're actually perfectly safe. Alright, so let's tackle down the permissions for projects first. So when we go to the project settings, and when we go for the permissions, remember this is only for the company managed projects. Now what you're gonna see is usually when you're creating a project, usually here what you're gonna be seeing is gonna be a lot of project role where it says any logged in user. And best practice for this is this needs to be changed, really. Especially when it comes to browse projects and when it comes to administer projects. So for the browse projects, you want to make sure that your project and the issues within that project can only be seen by specific people that are within your project and being assigned a correct project role or a specific group, because when you're adding people to a group, to your project, they can be either in a group or in a project role. So that is one of the best practices for administering the projects. So you want to make sure that your project admins are actually the people who are gonna handle all of those important changes. Like for example, for the details, to change the name of the project, to actually change the URL of the project, to change the project lead, the default assignee. But one thing, actually two things: project key, one thing, and the project category can only, okay, so underline this, only can be changed by Jira admins. I'm gonna talk about these folks a bit later. So that is what I wanted to say. You want to watch out for your project, who you're giving your permissions to whom. So that is why you're gonna create your project, your permission scheme. When you create your permission scheme, you need to go to your project settings, go to permissions, and use a different scheme here. Okay. We'll want to also watch out who can create issues on a project, who can edit them, who can delete them, who can delete all of the comments, who can create attachments, right? So you want to have the full control and know everything what is going on within your project. So that is one thing. Okay, the second permission is the global permission. So you go to settings, you go to system, and you go here. it says global permissions. When you go for global permissions, come on. So it says it applies to all of the projects. Not only one, not two, not three. All. Everything that you have. The first permission, administer Jira. So, Jira admins are those folks who have the global permission of administering the Jira. So they administer projects, issue types, fields, workflows, schemes, every possible single thing except managing users, porting data, and editing system email settings. And these folks are part of the org admins group and the Jira admins group. This group right here in the future, and that Atlassian add-ons group, is not going to be existing anymore. So that one is going to be deprecated. It's not going to be used. Just forget it. It doesn't exist. Zero. Nada. The second one, browse users and groups. Really important permission, especially when some users come and say, look, I cannot mention anyone from Jira my comments. What should I do? What is going on? What is broken here? And you see that, you see their name, you just add them to the group, and problem solved. Share dashboards and filters. You can leave it as it is. Manage group filter subscriptions, same thing. Make bulk changes, same thing. Create Steam managed project. This is actually an interesting one because by default it is being assigned to public. What this means that basically anyone on the internet, this includes the bad guys too. So the bad guys can actually come and to your Jira instance and start making some random projects, right? Even a simple spam of spamming the projects, creating them, maybe, I don't know, creating a script that can actually create thousands of team managed projects in like 30 seconds. Imagine that. And you just go for the coffee or go for the beach, go for the swim, you just come back and see and ask yourself, whoa, how did I get like 200 team managed projects? What is going on? So you want to change this. You don't want this to be public. You actually can limit this to be like Jira -users group. You can insert that and to basically have that. Okay? And when you have that, and it's gonna be much better, much more control. Third one, issue security. So what basically that is, that defines who can see some of the issues and who cannot see some of the issues. So when we're actually talking about this, so who can and cannot view the issues based on the security levels that you add. Now, I already have one that I have applied to a project, so I'm gonna add a new one. I'm gonna say secret, for example. That's gonna be the name of the security scheme. Now what I do, I go here, click on security levels, and when I click on security levels, I'm gonna say, let's say for example, I'm gonna say secret. I'm gonna add this, and in here I'm gonna go for actions. Now what I'm defining here, who this will enable the specific users and groups to view issues for projects that are associated with the issue security scheme and have their security levels set to secret. Now what I can actually do here, I can do lots of stuff. I can go this to be set for the reporter, for the application access, like any logged in user. This doesn't add any security at all. If you like put like security level and press on the application access and like any logged in user, you haven't done anything basically. So you just wanna avoid this. Alright. So it's either gonna be like a project role or either it's gonna be a group. Honestly, I never used other things. Can be also a project lead. That's another use case. So if you go for a project role and select it from here, I'm gonna say, you know what, I just want my fellow developers, when they're actually putting some Python code snippets that have some good libraries for web scraping, but they're saying like, you know what, I don't wanna share this with anyone. Some would say, you know what, why didn't you actually use the Bitbucket for the code repository and everything? But that's the other case. We're not gonna be covering that. Okay, so we have this. Now what? Let's say I'm gonna go to my different project here. Now I'm gonna go for Scrum. And when I go for Scrum, I'm gonna go for project settings. In the project settings, I'm gonna go for issues and I'm gonna go for the security. Now it says there's no issue security is being added. And I'm gonna say, well, there's gonna be. I'm gonna associate. And I'm acknowledging this. So I have secret. Wow, now what? Well, if I go back to the project, and if I go for my task right here, now what happens is, well, basically this can be seen by anyone, right? Yeah, that's right. Like, anyone can see it. Can anyone see this? Yeah, sure they can. Let me just see it once more, man. Okay. Project role developer. Okay, question. Can I see this? I'm gonna see like, okay. I'm gonna go like create. And probably you're gonna ask, well, how am I actually seeing this? Well, because Jira admins can actually see this, you know? They're the ones with the most power. But I'm not covering issue security here, so this is something that I have covered in a different video. Anyways, to actually bring this video to the end, basically that is it that you need to know about the permissions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.